What about reforms and, of course, what is the government planning in the near term? Anand Sharma, Commerce Minister, joins in now from New Delhi to talk about that. Mr. Sharma, hi, good morning. After a prolonged period of policy paralysis, the government seems to have now pushed the pedal on reforms. Where did the confidence come from?
There has been a depressed sentiment, but the decisions are well thought out decisions. This is not something being done in a hurry. After wide consultations with all the stakeholders, consulting the farmers, the consumers, industry, in particular the micro, small and medium enterprises, the associations and the states. Now, for anybody to say that there has been any lack of consultations is not correct. This is something which I would reject. So after that we have taken a well-considered view as something which will help India's rural economy, bring in investment and technologies, generate millions of jobs, and also bring relief to the consumers. Now, these decisions, as you would recall, were made last year on 24th of November, but the multi-brand retail one implementation was suspended because of very strong opposition which came from the BJP, the left, and including one of our key allies, the Trinamool Congress. And we had said that we will have another round of consultations, which was done. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs did consultations nationwide, so did the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Now, there are always mixed responses, but however, considering the need, particularly the unacceptably high post-harvest losses, the fact that the price realization of farmers is very low and the consumers are paying in multiple of 4 or 5 than what a farmer sells for, we think that this is a step in the right direction.
But Mr. Sharma, were some of these reforms clubbed together to make it appear like a big bang announcement?
In case of multi-brand retail, the decision was there. We had to remove the pause button, which we have done. We have made it absolutely clear in the cabinet decision that this is an enabling policy, which is left to the decision and implementation of the states. Because there are states who have reservations, there are states who are strongly in favor of it and were demanding its implementation. Now, the other proposals were moved quite a while back, whether on aviation, because it was the group of ministers which had met on the 7th of February, chaired by the then finance minister, which took a unanimous view. Thereafter, the desired consultations were taken place, and then the cabinet was moved.
So, Mr. Sharma, these reforms are all aimed at boosting investor sentiment. And do you think that will now happen and that would indeed restore confidence amongst market players?
I'm sure. You see, as you are aware, within minutes the sentiment lifted, whether it's the market or the rupee, the strengthening of the currency. We had not seen that happen in such a short span of time. So it's a positive message which has been welcomed by all. Yes, there is always opposition in a democracy. You cannot have everybody subscribing to the same view or policy approach.
Right.
So we deal with that.
Now the bad news, Mr. Sharma, FDI and retail is an enabling policy. It is completely on the states to allow it or not. So won't global retail giants find the discretionary power is now limited to states, and especially the non-Congress states could be a problem?
These are decisions made looking at the ground realities of the country, our complexities, the social and economic conditions, as well as the diversity of the country. We are a union of states. We respect the spirit of India's constitution, When it comes to giving a license for a shop, it is done by the local authority under the Shop and Establishment Act. Trade license is given by the local authority or the state government. When the implementation has to be done by them, the decision is best left to the states. But when you look at the number of states who want it, if you look at Maharashtra would be much bigger in size than many of the medium-sized countries. Same goes for Andhra Pradesh, for Rajasthan. The number of states who have asked for it, it may be 9 or 10. But these are very large agrarian states or states who are horticulture based.
So Mr. Sharma, what about the 30% mandatory local sourcing norm? Because most retailers are not quite happy about that.
We are one of the global leaders in textiles. We are a global leader in glassware. Global retailers like IKEA and others are sourcing their entire home furnishing from India, maybe 30–40%. The carpets from India, the brassware, the glassware, the entire steel kitchen range is going from India. So that is already being done. Their sourcing out of India is 1 billion euros. You look at the sourcing of Tesco's, Marks and Spencer, 600–700 million pound. So that Walmart is doing the same. Now they are doing the sourcing. Once they come with the investments, the difference is set up the manufacturing facilities here. When what is made in India, whether garments or the linen, goes out of India and the other things, home appliances, then why not invest in manufacturing? That will generate more jobs and employment, because these are global chains. What they will make in India will not only be sold in India, that will be sold globally, and we want that to happen.
Mr. Sharma, FDI in aviation was long awaited, but a lot of global airlines are not too excited about investing in India. So do you fear that FDI or more FDI in the aviation sector will only end up becoming an enabling policy, and we may not see too much of foreign investment actually coming to some of the airlines?
There is a huge difference between the two. We had allowed FDI in aviation many years ago, but the foreign airlines were not allowed. We have lifted that cap, so that foreign airlines, because earlier the aviation sector was not attracting that much of investment, because non-scheduled operations, FDI was allowed by foreign carriers. These helicopter cargo operations, FDI was allowed. Only for the passenger scheduled operations, these flights, it was not allowed. Now that has been permitted. Foreign airlines would invest when they come in as a strategic partner, and that is what this decision will do. And we have to wait and watch what decisions are made. These are all business decisions, and I'm sure it will help, because the aviation sector has been under stress not only in India but globally.
Right, so many experts do believe it was the threat of a downgrade by the ratings agencies that got the government to finally act and take tough decisions. Is that right, Mr. Sharma?
Very difficult to make a guess, but I hope that India will attract billions of dollars of investments.
But Mr. Sharma, since you have so vehemently opposed to this argument, let me change my question. Has the government averted a possible rating downgrade threat with some bold actions?
I reject it completely, and very firmly so, because this downgrade word is being used in recent weeks. These decisions and proposals were mooted months ago, and this one in particular almost a year ago.
So do you think the rating agencies have been unfair then on India?
Downgrading agencies or rating agencies have to take into consideration that India is a very strong economy. Our parameters, our fundamentals are strong. You look at national saving rate, national investment rate. A country which has a national saving rate even today of 34% or national investment rate of 31%, how can we call that a weak economy? There are major countries where the national saving rate was not even 1%. So India is growing, and yes, it's not a question of averting or not. Credit agencies have their own right. Let them do their work. But it's not that every time you agree with what somebody's rating is. Somebody has to do the rating of the rating agencies also.